You are now watching Demeech.
Welcome to this very special episode of Demeech's Arcade. This is the first request I'm taking, and this is from Mario Craze 00. What is the game I'm covering? Well, as you can see by Mario, Luigi, and the Piranha Plant, it could really be anything, but the game specifically was one of the sequels to Super Mario Bros., and that is Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, originally released for the Famicom Disk System in 1986. I don't have it. Why is that? Well, the Disk System didn't release in North America, and it's pretty expensive to get, and it's not that reliable. So we're going to be playing it the same way that all Americans did, with Super Mario All-Stars. Now the cartridge I have right here is Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World, and this right here, I would say this is the ultimate Mario game, because you're getting Super Mario Bros. 1, Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, and on top of that, Super Mario World. So we're going to play some of the Lost Levels today, and this might be a bonus feature, because not only will this be Demeech's Arcade, but this will also include Demeech's Fury. You'll see why in a bit. So we're going to be playing some of the Lost Levels, see how the game holds up, and I'm going to try not to rage. This is Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. I know there are ways to play the original one that released on the Famicom Disk System in 1986, but if you lived in the US or Europe, this is how you would originally play it. So I really wanted to showcase this version because 1, this is the first way we got to play the game, and 2, it does have some enhancements compared to the original on Famicom. For 1, the game is a little bit easier, and for this kind of game, I definitely think it's a really good thing. This game is rage-inducing right here. You could also save your progress, and it has a great graphical overhaul right here. Everything looks so much better than it did on the Famicom, and it looks great, even to this day. So we're going to select the Luigi game because Luigi is a better brother in every way. And if you don't know the story behind Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, here's what happened. In 1986, Nintendo released an accessory for the Famicom Disk System, or not the Famicom Disk System, the Famicom called the Disk System, and what it would do is it would allow you to play floppy disks on the Famicom that were specially designed for it. This was used to cut costs, as making the floppy disk was a lot cheaper to make than the cartridges that it used. The way they wanted to sell the Famicom Disk System? Make a sequel to the most popular game on the Famicom. Thus, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels was born. This is the original Super Mario Bros. 2 right here. If you've ever played Super Mario Bros. On Super Mario All-Stars, you'll notice right away that there's really no graphical difference between the two. And it was very similar on the Famicom too. The only real difference is that the ground tiles were they look more like dirt, and there was a shadow behind the text. That's kinda it. So overall, they are very similar games, so think of it as DLC before DLC. Now, we just cleared that level with flying colors, but this game gets very challenging when you get to later stages. It's not too bad in the first few worlds. I've played this game enough to know what I'm doing, but if you're new to Mario, I would not recommend starting off with this game right here. So, I'm playing as Luigi right now, and as you can see, he can jump much higher than Mario can, but he does slide around the stage. That's how they decided to balance it out, because if he just jumped higher and didn't have the traction issue, then he'd easily be overpowered. Oddly enough though, this game doesn't have multiplayer. I don't understand that, because in Super Mario Bros. You just take turns, while in Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, it's not even here. Very strange. So we're just gonna beat this level right here. If you know what you're doing, it's kinda easy, at least in the first few stages, but don't worry, this game gets difficult very quickly. So if you've ever played Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, I'd love to know what you think about the game, because here are my general thoughts on it. Coming from someone who was too stupid to originally play the game, at least that's what Nintendo thought, because it was too difficult, yeah, I could say the difficulty could turn some players off. But what really I don't like about this game more is just how derivative of the original that it is. What are the new additions here? Playable Luigi in single player, Red Piranha Plants, and Bowser's brother in one stage. Yeah, Bowser has a twin brother, did you know that? I didn't either, and Nintendo doesn't want you to know that either. It's just so much like the first game. It's really fun to play and go through because of how rage-inducing the levels are. So it's great for something like a live stream, reaction, something like that. But overall, I would say it's not one of the best Mario games. It's too similar to the first. Sometimes the levels can be downright unfair. I don't think it's too difficult to the point where, it wouldn't sell here. But I just think it was way too similar to the original. The Super Mario Bros. 2 we got here, though, was a fantastic game. I don't care if it was a reskin of Doki Doki Panic. I find it to be better than this game in every way. It's just more interesting, levels are much cooler. As you can see right there, Luigi's physics did not want to work, but I don't even think we need the mushroom in this stage. I think that's a problem. I'll try to go for it, even though I don't really need it. But if you've played the last levels, curious to know what you think about the game. Because I think it's a fun time, but it's more goofy fun than anything else. If you want a true Mario experience, you're better off playing literally any other 2D Mario game. Except for Super Mario Bros. Special. Alright. With Luigi's higher jumping, that was easy right there. Yeah, some things never change right there. So we rescued Toad! So that's what you gotta do. You gotta rescue the Toads before getting to Peach. Is this Paper Mario before Paper Mario? Because this game has a lot of Toads. Kidding, of course, but this right here is a second level. So you can see it takes place at night. Looks beautiful on the Super Nintendo. The art style is really held up, despite it being 16-bit, of course. But it goes to show with a good presentation, a game can look timeless. Why do you think they're still using the pixel art style for a lot of games? As you can see right here, I've played this game a lot of times where this really isn't too challenging of a game for me. But if we got to later stages, yeah, it would definitely be more challenging. I almost jinxed it right there, but we didn't. Because we are gamers, and that was a pro gamer move right there. So just gonna clear out this stage. When you play Super Mario Bros. Or any of the 2D Mario games, do you like to take your time and go through the levels? Or do you just like to speedrun through them? If I'm playing something like New Super Mario Bros. Wii or any of the New Super Mario Bros. Games, I will explore through the levels since there are the star coins, but usually with this kind of game, I like to go through the stages as fast as possible, but here, slow and steady kind of wins the race, because it can get very difficult. You gotta have split-second reaction. We are at 2-2 right now, and we only died once, but I think it's a pretty good idea to get a mushroom. So if you're playing this game, here's a strategy I recommend. Don't look at Mario and Luigi, look towards the right of the screen. That way you'll know what's coming up. So that way it's easier to dodge, you can have a general idea, and just make sure you know what you're doing. As you can see right there, a little bit of platforming right there, tricky platforming. There we go. I'm trying to find a mushroom, although I don't know where to find one. I think we'll just wait until the next stage, because that's like the tree level, where you're just jumping through the trees. Alright. I think there's a oh, there's a mushroom right there. There we go. Let's see how long it'll last. Okay, this is a section that's much better with Luigi than Mario. This is some of the poor level design right here. They have you doing stuff like this, and although it's not the worst thing, it certainly really isn't a good idea. And there are backwards warp zones too. I think that was one of them right there. It leads you to a backwards warp zone, which brings you back to World 1. Which, there are a lot of troll moments in this game. Keep in mind, this was released in 1986, before trolling and the internet were even a thing. So wow, Nintendo really was ahead of its time. So we just beat 2-2. Think we're gonna get towards the end of World 2 today. Maybe play this game in a live stream. This is more of a review than anything else. So overall, I've gave my thoughts on Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, and I'll say them again. The game is fun to play, but definitely isn't one of Mario's best adventures. There are some fun things about the game. I think the hard levels are really fun to go through, but there's just not much here. It's just so similar to the original Super Mario Bros. It's essentially a glorified ROM hack, or if the internet was a thing in 1986, this would make for some pretty good DLC right here. So just going through the game. This also has the moniker of Super Mario Bros. For super players because it is much harder than the original, and I think that's a fair title. As for calling it Super Mario Bros. 2, yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense, but overall though, it's just a very derivative game. Super Mario Bros. 3, on the other hand, definitely worthy of the title. I would say out of the original Mario trilogy, Mario 3 has to be my favorite. As for Mario 3 vs. Mario World, you know, I'd have to say Mario World, although Mario 3 is very close, but the real winner is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Alright. See, there was an invisible mushroom right there. I did not remember that being in the game. I think this is one of the puzzle stages where if you find, or you go through this maze right here. Okay. That was a dumb move right there. You go through this maze, and if it's correct, it'll make like a correct sound. If it's wrong, that's one change in this game that makes it a lot better. But yeah, I'd say if you're going to play the Lost Levels, this is the more fun version to play. And it's a lot more pleasing to the eyes. So we're not doing too well here, as you can see. So I just gotta stay concentrated. You really have to focus when you're playing this game. So I think I'm just gonna wait for the Goombas to go in the lava right here. Just gonna see these Koopas right here. There's a fire bar. Gonna go for the mushroom right here. There we go. Once you get the hang of Luigi, though, he's awesome to play as. And he's a superior brother. Always whenever there's a chance to play as Luigi, I'll take it. Yeah. It seems like the Pootaboos, or they're called lava bubbles now, they're much faster in this game than they were in the original. So I don't think that was one of the maze levels. I think that comes later, next world, I think. Alright, we're at Bowser right now. He's not throwing hammers or anything, but it's always still good to stay focused because he can get aggressive. Just gotta wait for him to go further back, then we can jump over him. And it's a pretty easy boss fight. Wow, I gotta say though, this game has such variety when it comes to bosses. I mean, there are 8 different variations of Bowser, and he really doesn't change things up other than throwing hammers in the later stages. And there we go. So that concludes this episode of Demeech's Arcade. I'm curious to know what you think of Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. I had fun playing it, I'm not gonna lie. And it's kind of a guilty pleasure. I know it's not the greatest game, but I always enjoy going back to it. Maybe for that challenge. Overall, I kind of consider Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels something like spicy food. It just really gives you that kick of spice with the challenge that you really don't get from any other Mario game. So if Super Mario Bros. Is Cheetos, then I would say Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is extra flamin' hot Cheetos. So I'm gonna play some more of this level right here. That concludes this episode of Demeech's Arcade. If you have any requests, please let me know. And keep calm and da-da on.